Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
How to turn leads into customers that pay, stay, and refer. Now, the goal of every coach, consultant, or small to medium business owner is to basically grow their business sustainably, and pretty much after that, help our customers solve their problems. But in order for us to be able to do that, we first of all need the customers, and second of all, in order for our customers to stay, we need to deliver outstanding results for these customers so we can win their loyalty for life. And once we've got their loyalty, these customers are going to be singing our praises to their family, to their friends, colleagues at a barbecue, and even strangers on a bus. Now, this is not easy. For you to be able to deliver a world-class experience that people will triple, stumble, and fall in order to get, this is something you have to manufacture within your business. So if you've been listening to our podcast, for the past 5 episodes, we've been talking about how you can restart, recharge, and revive your marketing no matter where you are right now. And if you look at Season 4, episode number 1, we were talking about creating a powerful brand experience. And episode number 2, we actually confronted you, my Internet Explorer, and asked you if you're on track to meet your goals this year. And then I received a barrage of emails from my clients and prospects, and people were saying, what is it that I need to do to actually restart and recharge and maybe revive my marketing? Because you called us out for not having met our goals this year. So I started a series of podcasts which I want to help any business owner that's struggling to stay on plan with their marketing for the rest of the year. And obviously, depending on where you are right now, you can literally restart, recharge, and revive. If you look at the last 5 episodes of the Online Prosperity Experience, in which episode number 3, we started talking about the bare basics of really clarifying your message and making sure that the audience that you're speaking out to there have an innate understanding of who you are and how you can possibly help them solve their problems. And pretty much after that, we went on to talk about the platform where you actually tell your story, and that happens to be your website, where people actually start their client journey with you. And then we spoke about what you need to put on that website in order to then generate hundreds of qualified leads like clockwork. And that's episode number 5. And the last episode, which is number 6, is how to generate hundreds of those qualified leads, using either content or, lead generation strategies that I also elaborate in that episode. And it's how to just perfect that lead generation and follow up so that you have a consistency in the type of leads that come to your website, so you can convert them into people that pay, stay, and refer. But people don't just stay. No matter how good your products are or your services are, they are going to stay because of an amazing customer experience. And today we're going to be talking about that. In order for us to once we've got a good customer experience, we now sell more of our products to existing customers than trying to find more customers for our products. And we all understand as Internet Explorers that it's easier to sell to people that already know, like, and trust you than to new people that have never heard of you. And I really want you to sustainably scale your business so that you become a trusted leader within your industry. And for you to be able to do this, You need to create diverse recurring revenue streams that will skyrocket your profitability to ensure that your business remains 100% bulletproof, even during market downturns, global pandemics, and any sweeping lockdowns. But how do you accomplish this, right? And then in this episode, we're going to be talking about why customer experience is everything. All right, forget everything you've ever heard about SEO. Forget everything you've ever heard about personal branding. Forget everything you've ever heard about marketing, so to speak. If your customers don't feel like they're being responded to or they're being heard throughout their buying journey, you, my friend, will never be able to have a business that outlasts, the global pandemics that I'm talking about, or any lockdowns that might be thrown on us. And the reason why I'm saying this is because so many people, so many coaches, consultants, and small to medium business owners are very, very focused about the product that they're putting out there. They're very focused about putting out the consulting, the training, the information, the expertise, or whatever paid speaking gig they might have. They never pay attention to the actual customer, the actual people that are paying them money. So many people are also focused on the changes in marketing and all the things that they have to master in order to pay attention to. They focus on the media. They focus on the social media aspect and how they present and how their blogs are being written. They are measuring, numbers, analytics, all of that stuff. How many people clicked what and what color the button was. All of that nonsensical stuff. The fact is, the most significant driver to change today isn't the way how marketing is changing or how big a screen you need to have, for your website to show up on. It's how people are buying that's changing. Right now, it's all already post-COVID, all right? I'm in Australia, in Melbourne, and we were one of the most locked down states or, cities in the world, so to speak. From the most livable city to the most locked down city. What that meant is people couldn't travel any further than 10 kilometers from where they stay. And in the area that I live, we are in suburbia, and most of the things we have to travel maybe more than 15 Ks or so to the nearest shopping center. We have to travel 15 or so Ks to where you can get your car fixed and all that stuff. I mean, most of the things are now moving closer to us, but you don't necessarily get your whole shopping center, in the area that we live. So what does that create? That creates a dependence on us having to search for products online. That creates a situation where I need to go on people's websites before I travel the distance in order to make a booking, in order for me to put my car in, right? So all of that changed during COVID because now we're just looking for people near us because we didn't want to travel far. And now that means the buying strategy for a lot of people has totally changed. Who are you close to? And do they know of your existence? Because obviously people want stuff delivered to their homes. People, are not going to be wanting to travel or wait that long because obviously they're now trained to get instant gratification. So if the customer is now indeed maybe in charge of the buying journey, and I truly believe that is true because most of the customer's journey starts with an initial SEO search. Okay, and then so the most important marketing element, that we now at least can control is the customer experience. The moment they get in touch with our brand, how are we connecting with them? How are we engaging them? How are we educating them so that they get to know us, like us, and trust us in the limited amount of time that they have in order to make sense of the world around them? So in which way? Any given moment, your prospects or your customer experience is now the focal point on any aspect of your business. Okay, and may I actually be as bold as to suggest that customer experience is now everything today? Because if people don't feel like they are getting the information they want or need from your website, guess what? They're just gonna scroll off and then go to somebody else who's got the information ready for them. And now I realize if I'm going to suggest something so far, so maybe reaching and universal, I'm also having going to have to help you expand your vision in order for you to understand this and understand what this customer experience actually is. Okay, so for me, let me give you a specific example in my part. The customer is experiencing your business long before you are aware of their need or interest, or long before they even pick up the phone to make an inquiry. They've already probably scrolled through your website. They've seen your testimonials, they've looked at your reviews, they've already gone through enough information for them to be armed by the time that they reach out to call you. And that is very, very important to notice, that when somebody picks up the phone to ring you, that's not the first time that they've actually encountered your business. They probably tried 3 other times, and they were just trying to make sure that they have enough information in order to make that inquiry, because nobody wants their intelligence insulted, or they don't want to appear as if they're asking stupid questions whereby you already have the questions answered in your frequently asked questions section of your website. All right. The reason why I know this is because when we deal with our customers, or our clients' customers, we look at, hit signatures behind the website, where you notice how far the customer had scrolled down, what were they looking at, where did they linger on, and all that stuff. You can use a tool called Hotjar, where you can literally track the movement of your customer's eyes and mouse. And these days people use the mouse as their eyes, so you can literally track the mouse in order for you to see where the customer has been, how long they lingered on the website, what are the pages they went to, up until the time that they then decided to make an inquiry. So people don't just rock up to your shop these days. They just don't rock up to your website. They make informed decisions first. So the question I have is, have you considered the impact of every marketing decision prior to when somebody makes an inquiry with you? All right. And like I said, as an agency, we work, with SEO as well. Even Google rewards you if you actually create a really good customer experience. There's what's called a bounce rate. So Google starts calculating how much time somebody spends at the website, before they click out, if they got the inquiry from Google, because Google wants that people get the information that they're looking for. So even Google rewards you. If you've got a low bounce rate, then Google assumes that you've got the right information that people have, and it's quite engaging or educating. So you're the right person, and you're the trusted leader or the trusted authority that this person was looking for based on the keywords that they searched. So Google rewards you for a good customer experience. Many people come to me and they ask me, "Hey, Prosper, how can I get better rankings on Google?" And I tell them, simply educate others. That's basically what SEO is. Simply educate others. And while I may give them more technical answers at times, the simple answer is just create a better customer experience. Give the information that the customer is looking for, and don't make it difficult for them to find it. Because Google lied to us, my Internet Explorer. They virtually, made people believe that whenever you type in certain keywords into Google, that information, there's somebody at Google headquarters who's looking through folders and files of all the websites on the internet and then giving you that information. You know what? Google's objectives when it comes to, to search is just to always has been to reward businesses that create the best, the most relevant, and the most useful content, and make it easy for people to find and consume that content. Let me repeat that again. Google wants to make sure that people find the most relevant, the most useful content, and they can find it easily, and they actually consume that content. Because like I said, as soon as somebody leaves the Google sphere or search engine page, or search engine results page as they call it, they start calculating how long it takes for that person to come back to Google again. So the longer the person stays away, the more Google is happy that that information is relevant, is useful, and people are actually consuming that content. You need to tattoo that somewhere in your head to make sure that search engine optimization really is simply educating others about what it is that you do and how you can solve their problems. That's all it is. And the only thing that Google has changed in the time is just its ability to understand what content does just that. So the more content is fed into the engine, the algorithm starts learning which is the best content and which is the best, the most relevant and useful websites out there, and they just rank those ones. Okay, so naturally, all these other things like your meta tags and all that stuff, it's all just to tell the search engine, what it is that you do and who you do it for and who should click through after, they find the keywords that, that are represented or the ones that you want to rank for. Heck, if you can, and I do in most cases, there's, even those backlinks that people talk about, all of that is the user experience because you are linking people to relevant information that they can get, expanded on whatever stuff or topics that you are presenting to them there. All right. So you want to make sure that your website is valuable to the customer and you're creating a valuable customer experience rather than just building domain authority and trying to gain the algorithms. Google now rewards you for actually being helpful. So your modus operandi from now on is help people by actually helping them. Give as much value as you can because we get paid in direct proportion to the value that we give to the marketplace. Yes, of course, people will pick up the phone and call you and ask more detailed questions, but half of the time nobody wants to be thought of as a fool or somebody who didn't do their research. So you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna make sure that they consume enough information so they can ask you about how your service works, predicated on the information that you already have on your website. So you need to guide the journey that your customer is going to be taking, all right? Because we're wasting thousands of money on ad spend, without even generating any qualified leads. You know why? Because maybe when the people come to our websites, we haven't created enough content. Oh, the content doesn't have any content upgrades, which will then, warrant them to want to, swap that, exchange that information with their, their email address. All right. So at the end of the day, it is a journey that your customer is taking. And are you there every step of the way up until your customer is ready to pick up the phone or to make that inquiry? Okay, so it's time to let the notion of thinking that your website is simply a tool to inform your potential buyers of the products and services that you offer. Oh, the worst scenario is just a place for where people can get your phone number. If you notice a lot of websites, and I'm talking to you accountants and a few lawyers, there's hardly any information, and you would understand people are intimidated by lawyers to start off with. If you're not giving enough information for people to make informed decisions, then guess what? They're gonna go someplace else to somebody who's done the work, put the content out there, and guess what? That person is who is eating your lunch right now. So your website is no longer a tool to convey your phone number or your email address or contact details, okay? Your website today is the hub, or at the very, very least, the jumping in point of your customer journey. Depending on where they've come off from, your website is that platform where you actually tell your story. So you want to make sure that people hear it, they see it, they read it, and they experience it. And then that's when people actually buy into whatever it is that you're trying to put across there. Before they do anything, they need to know you, they need to like you, they need to trust you. And people only do with the business with those they know, like, and trust. Okay? So looking at what we've been talking about, the last 18 minutes, the job of your website now is to lead and guide your prospects into, an ever deepening journey of awareness, okay? Trust, knowledge, insight, and eventually conversion. And once people have converted on your site, that is only when you literally can get to understand how you can actually solve their problem. Before any of that happens, these people have to trust you. Okay, so your website has to really accomplish a great deal, but it's also one very big piece of your customer experience journey. That is where they start to really get to know who you are, get to understand your story, and buy into the provision of your service and all those things that are happening. And like I mentioned earlier on, our customers' buying decisions and journeys are totally changing. And today, the number one thing a prospect wants from your website is just a frictionless path to the information or any action that they've come either to find or to take. Remember, people are coming to the internet to get information, and if they're getting that information from your website, then obviously then they get to know you, like you, and trust you. And we all know that people do business with those they know, like, and trust. So web design should actually be renamed. And I'm saying this to you, my Internet Explorer. We should rename web design to customer experience design. How are we helping our customers get to know us? How are we getting our customers to engage us? And how are we educating that customer so that they get more of the value that we've got to offer? All right, and anyone that is calling themselves a web designer out there should actually have the credentials for SEO and content. And I know I'm just saying this based on the fact that there's a lot of charlatans out there. We just want to make sure that people have the first class, world class experience right from the get-go, and it starts with a properly designed website that has all the information that is relevant, that is current, and it actually helps clients by actually helping them. All right. So, okay, so far I think I've focused on online elements. I just looked at the clock and it looks like we've got 10 minutes left. Oh my God, my Internet Explorer. Did I even say how are you today? I'm hoping you're really enjoying these episodes. And if you are, just send me an email. Okay, Prosper at Live Long Digital. Tell me what you want me to talk about, because I can understand. As an entrepreneur, marketing is just one aspect of running a successful what am I saying now? Successful business. All right, you're hiring and managing new stuff. Yesterday I actually just hired a videographer. So if you haven't checked out our YouTube, you notice that maybe there's going to be a new section where we've got new videos, and we're going to try and make this podcast into video format anyway. So you're hiring new staff, you're balancing books, you're driving growth, and it feels like a constant balancing act where you're pulled in multiple different directions all at once. And your real goal is just to help your clients. But how can you help people that haven't engaged with you? Okay, you don't want to you want to spend as much time as possible changing people's lives and solving people's problems. Make it easy for people to find you, make it easy for people to work with you, make it easy for people to stay, so that you don't consistently have to be going out there chasing for people and begging them to hire you. All right. And like I was saying, we've been focusing on the online elements of the customer experience, but in the end, a lot of businesses, they make or break their customer relationships through a combination of the online and the offline touch points. So when somebody has actually decided to call you, what's the wait time on your phone like? What's the experience like? Let's maybe look at a hair salon. All right. So somebody like me that is super, super busy, I only have 10 minutes to get my hair done, and I want to ring up in advance so that I go in at exactly the time I'm going to be sitting at the chair, and then immediately get my hair done, and then I'm walking out. All right. So think about the hair salon, and maybe this is how it might go for you. I'm not quite sure how you like your stuff done, but I hate waiting. Okay. And maybe I look for a new stylist in my area, and I search for hair stylist nearby, and it better be somebody who knows and is well versed with trimming African hair and beards and all that stuff. So I click around and I look at the photos and whatever vibes me, and I look, especially, do any of the customers that this hair salon have represent or look like me? That's what a lot of people do. So you want to make sure that the experience Even before you talk to the people, everybody's already searching, what's in it for me? Does this person understand my problem? Can I schedule time online? What are the reviews that they have? What is the experience like? Can I go in for 10 minutes and not have to wait? Do the stylist know how to deal with my hair? All of those things are happening behind the scenes. Now, can you translate that to your type of work? Maybe you're an accountant. People want to know, do I have to subscribe to Xero on my own? Do I have to remind you to do my best? All of that stuff, all of those questions you have to answer before anybody steps into your shop or your online experience or anything. So you see where the customer experience emanates from. It's a long journey and a long string of questions that your customer is already asking. Have you answered any of those questions? It sounds like it's a hard job, but guess what? That's how we're not getting, the phone ringing as much, because we are not leading with all that information that customers have, questions for, and we're not doing anything about it. Okay? So, and maybe, somebody rings and now you've made them pay, they've become a customer. Guess what? You don't yet own this relationship up until you're making profit from this person. And it is a truth universally known that the first 90 days is the courting period, where you're really starting the relationship with your customer, and you spending far too much money just to onboard them and making sure that they've got the best experience. You're not yet making a profit from this person, and you want to make sure that they stay with you for at least 90 days, because it is said it takes about 90 days for any habit to start forming. All right. So the first 90 days are the most important part of your relationship. You are definitely going to make sure that you've got a white glove service that this person is going to get accustomed to. And pretty much once they are locked in, then obviously you can then relax. So you must look at your customers' first 90 days, as a customer, as this is a trial period. Both of you guys filling each other out on the energies and how the service is being provided, and they're also checking to see, are you actually now living up to your promise that you were promising them before they became a customer. Because the most tedious part of any relationship is the beginning. All right. See, when somebody becomes a customer, the relationship immediately changes. Money has exchanged hands. Now, when money has exchanged hands, expectations arise. Because before, everything was sweet and, you were promising and they were showing up to meetings. But now they have given you money for something in return. They are automatically starting to look for a return on their investment. And this is when everything can start to go downhill. And this is when the time when you can actually get more, maybe referrals, or maybe this is the time when the customer actually gets to experience you, and this is your opportunity to turn that client into a raving fan. I mean, 90 days is just an arbitrary number, but you get it, right? It's not that hard, but very few people make sure that they're delivering a world-class service in the first 90 days. And I'm not saying, leave it up until the first 90 days, because what is it that you're doing? You're building loyalty, you're building an ambassador, and you're building a community within that person. All right. If that person doesn't buy into your community and anything that you're doing, then you rest assured that whatever money you spend trying to attract them to become a customer was all wasted, because you only start getting a return from this person, especially after 90 days of having paid you. Okay. So, it certainly takes a lot of thought and a lot of commitment for you to actually maintain and retain a customer the first 90 days. So have you thought through what happens when your customer says yes? Have you thought, what is it that they need to know? Have you thought what communication, channels they're happy to ask you? Because half of the time I usually laugh, and I'm sorry if this refers to you. I'm just giving an example here. You've noticed the Jehovah's Witnesses or people that are door-to-door salespeople, because they constantly get rejected, they perfect the intro, but then they don't perfect the body. And what else happens after that? Because if somebody comes knocking on your door and you say, yeah, sure, come in, sit down, have a coffee, what can we do today? They don't know what to do after that. So you need to make sure that you have the customer journey well documented, so that if it's not you that has to deal with the customer the first 90 days, your team actually knows, and there's continuous optimization and customization. You know why? You've taken this customer's money. All right. Now they want a return on their investment. And this is how you then have customers that pay, stay, and refer. All right. So creating a great experience is just more than guesswork, or there's nothing pegged down to science. But what it does have in common with a lot of science is you need to build your customer experience as an experiment. And what is working, you keep. What's not working, you ditch. And then you test what's actually being favorable with a lot of people. Because a great customer experience comes from commitment to continuously optimizing every element of the journey. All right? Don't let loose or let go, of the wanting to make your customers happy in the first 90 days. Because pretty much if you don't, they're going to be searching. They're still going to be wooed by the people that they were also making inquiries with. All right. So this takes paying close attention, measuring, asking for feedback, and applying what you see, what you hear. And the more you do the best things for your customers, the more they're going to pay, the more they're going to stay, and the more your marketing is going to be cheaper in the long run. Because consultants and coaches that deliver the best customer experiences do so because they care about helping people that they serve. And that's all we've got to do. At the end of the day, that's how I'd like you to think about the entire process, of the journey of you actually restarting your marketing and actually making sure that you're delivering on your promises. It's not magic. There's heart involved. You need to just identify if you're doing the right things in order for you to develop a world-class experience for your customers. And once you do that, you've got people, that are loyal to your brand. You've got people that will pay, stay, and refer. And most of all, you actually have people, that become loyal to you for life. And it makes your marketing cheaper. I really want you to win in this game, and I really want you, to no longer go through any start, stop, or false stats that you might have been going through of late. You found the online prosperity experience. You are now an internet explorer. I want you to go out there and actually win, develop super efficient management systems so that you create very good and world-class customer journeys and customer experiences so that you have people coming back for more. I can't wait to celebrate your successes already. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au.